and D Good. Catch us live every Sunday on Facebook, YouTube,
This man
and
ain't changed it yet.
TikTok. Visit Knucklehead Chronicles podcast for past shows, clips, and previous guests. Now buckle up, because here we go.
Oh, snap. Hey, y'all. We back in the building. What's going on? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast live here on WLEO 26.7 on your internet radio dial. If you are watching me on any of the platforms, thank you for watching. Please make sure that you share the broadcast out to your friends and your family and your timeline and all that. And we want to thank you guys for coming aboard. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. So before we get too deep into the conversation, first thing I want to do, if you guys look on your screen, look down to my bottom left on the screen, we have a returning member of this podcast, Mr. Ernest E. Digger.
Say it with your chest, boy. Put that chest out, brother.
Say it with your chest.
Oh man, you should have gave him a wrestling intro. He raised his hand. What were the fireworks?
I'm just saying.
What was the
his
theme
intro should have
music?
been standing at 10'3",
Yes.
230 pounds, dunking on your mama and your baby daddy.
Well,
Like they Oreo cookies and milk.
you know what? Hey, cookies and milk. But I want to welcome E back. E was, for those of you guys who are listening or watching for the very first time, E was the original four. You know, we're the awesome foursome until we are dead. You know, so all that. So he was the original part of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, along with me, Peeps. Peeps has always been here. Ephraim and Dwayne. So it was, we were, so
I ain't going nowhere. You stuck
hey,
with me
man,
forever, brother.
I ain't mad at you. I mean, I need commitment, baby. I ain't mad at you, dog. I tell you.
Right.
So that's what the social media game is about, man. You gotta have people who are committed, who's willing to work with you. You know, it's just like anything else in life, man. You have to have people that are on the same page, that have the same not the same likes, but the same vision as you. If they're not on the same page as you, they don't see what you see, then you don't need them in your circle. Feel me? So that's the reason why I hooked up with Mr. E Digger, because he had a vision. He called me up one day and was like, "Yo, man, this is what I'm doing. Either you riding with it or you throw it out the window."
Right.
I'm riding with it. And so I've been committed ever since. So we are up in the building, man. You are at the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast. Listen, you guys visit the website, knuckleheadchroniclespodcast.com, for all past shows, any clips and all that good stuff right there on the website. If you have a show idea or if you want to be a part of the show, please send me an email at knuckleheadchroniclespodcast@gmail.com. So, like before I get started, I want to find out from my guys, man, how was your week, man? What's going on? It's Sunday. We're going into a whole new week. I know Kevin is darn near petrified, but we'll get to him last. But how was you guys this week, man?
Me personally, I just work.
Yeah, nothing good happened. Just work.
Well, one thing good did happen.
Okay.
Me and my guy that I started podcasting with 6 years ago are a part of WLEO now.
See, that was coming later, but see, I'm glad you brought it up. Now that we're here, WLEO is growing. We're adding another show onto the record.
I mean, that's the only good thing that happened. So
I appreciate that, man.
I lost 2 pounds.
See, that's even better.
Right.
See, Quinn is the co-host of the show Hip Hop Rejects. That's coming on WLEO, premiering here in a month. So we're getting them boys up and going. So E, how was your week, man?
Man, my week started off, pretty good. Just yesterday we went bowling, and my wife,
I haven't bowled.
Right, my wife's co-worker's family came out, and
Sorry, y'all. That was me.
Peoples, I told you, I'm going to put you on mute.
And I didn't know I could bowl. I mean, I ain't
you didn't know you could bowl?
Yeah, I ain't know I could bowl because I was beating everybody.
It ain't hard, bro. All you doing is holding a marble ball down an alley.
Right.
Hey, E, let me tell you what I did because people hate that I'm this way. But so some friends were inviting me to go bowling. I hadn't bowled since about 2006.
Okay.
So beforehand, because I didn't want to embarrass myself, I went on ahead and went to the bowling alley a few days before we were actually supposed to meet up and bowl. And I had to get back in the groove. Yeah, I wasn't like, you think I was gonna be standing up there in front of those people throwing gutter balls?
Right.
Nah, I'm sure you don't. Yeah.
No, man. I would have just bowled like all strikes.
Right. Yeah, it's cool though.
Bowling for me is it's a hit or miss type of deal for me. I'm good for the first couple of frames. Then when my thumbs start hurting, it's time to sit down. That's what I figured.
I got a bowl with an extra wide thumb because I was just saying,
those hurt worse, don't they?
Right.
I can't put my fingers in the holes anymore. So I just grip the ball and throw it down the lane.
Man.
So, Queen, what'd you just say?
Y'all terrible.
I said I can't put my fingers in the holes in the ball.
That's what she said. Did you get it?
I saw that coming a mile away. I'm y'all. I apologize, audience. I want to apologize.
What are we, 12?
Audience.
She said, no, we're actually 8.5, but that's beside the point.
I want to apologize to the audience and the fans out there. I'm sorry for Terry. That was
worse than dad jokes.
That was pretty bad. That's what
that was sad. You get a sad emoji for that one.
Kevin, how was your week, man? I know you got some stuff happening coming up here.
Oh man,
pretty soon.
You talk about stress on top of stress on top of. I got family coming in. I'm trying to get everybody organized. My son's best friend is coming into town. Mm-hmm. I got my kids here, and we running amok in here along with my sister and her kids. And I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to have everybody around because this is something that I enjoy. Like yesterday, I was cooking breakfast, and I was cooking the breakfast for a family of damn near 13, 14 people, 12, one some up there. So, and there's a house full of teenagers and kids.
I'm sorry.
So, and don't be because I see it. It's a blessing. I love the moment. I literally sat back and I smiled and I looked at my baby and I said, "I love this.
That's what's
this is a blessing to me. This is great. This is a really good feeling. I can sit back. I'm cooking. Everybody's laughing, enjoying the moment, smiling, cracking jokes, particularly about me, which I don't appreciate. I should have threw your pancake on the ground. My daughter looking at me right now across the counter. I should have threw your pancake on the ground too, and let you eat it.
Y'all throwing food? Hey man, there's people starving in Africa behind that, man. Quit it.
They throwing pancakes.
I was gonna make her eat it.
As long as it was before the 30-second rule. The 30-second rule.
I thought it was.
I was gonna kick it a couple of times. I'm trying to kick the pancake a couple of times, and then
as long as you live, you better not never make them children eat out the floor. I'll slap you silly.
How did they do it? How did they do it? They grab
you ain't having it.
Kiss it up to God like
I will pay. I'm gonna take a flight to San Antonio just to slap you, and I'm gonna slap you extra for me having to take time out my day to out and money out my wallet to come and slap you for doing something so foolish.
That's going to be a hard slap.
I think I'm gonna feel that.
Talk about I'm reaching up and back. I'm reaching up and high fiving God and bringing that slap down.
Oh my goodness! You're gonna reach around. Everybody. We don't condone violence here on this podcast, so don't listen. They're just talking. They love each other. They love each other. All right, so we have a great show lined up for you guys. We're gonna talk about a couple of different topics. We're gonna talk about knowing your worth, and we're gonna talk about forgiving a cheater if someone cheated on you. But we're going to get into knowing your worth first. So give me a few seconds and we'll be right back.
That's right. Tune in to WLEO 26.7 online radio for all the newest music, hip hop and R&B from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Jazz and gospel, as well as new shows and local and national DJs on the ones and twos, getting you ready for the work week ahead. That party vibe or relaxing at home, all on Baltimore's newest online radio station, WLEO 26.7 online radio, worldwide listening entertainment online.
All right. And welcome back to the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast. You got me, the guru. You have Quinn over to my, I always get it wrong that way, over to my right here, down below me is the returning champion, Mr. E. Ernest Harris, CEO of WLEO, is also.
Let me get another round of applause for him right quick. Can we get another round of applause for him?
You know what? I can't with you.
With
the
high def camera now, my camera quality looked like shh.
What did I tell you before we went live? What did I tell you before we went live?
When I get back home, I'm gonna be on my 4K camera when I get back home. But for now, I'm gonna let E Digger have his shine in this moment. Let him have his shine, bro. He finally back. I've been waiting for this.
Well, I'm fine with 720p.
Kevin, you're gonna learn that you're gonna learn not to feed the animals, sir. Don't do that.
As long as they don't bite me. As long as they don't bite me.
No, I don't bite.
All right.
I smile a lot, but I don't bite.
All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into this topic real quick. We're going to talk about knowing your worth. Now, because normally what I do with you guys, people that are listening and watching, is that I usually send my guys out a text on Monday mornings and like, hey, I need a topic for Sunday. And the first thing that came about was knowing your worth. And that was, I think Kevin headed up that particular topic, or I think he sent me like 8 topics. But Kevin picked out that particular topic. So I'm curious, Kevin, as to why you want to really talk about or get into knowing your worth. Why?
Man, it's for a few reasons. And this one is particularly for the women, actually, knowing your worth. Because after going through a really harsh relationship, you women, women in general, I should say, now I shouldn't say you women, but women in general, after going through a very hard time in a relationship, tend to lose themselves, and they tend to date down or date someone out of their comfort zone, and and they're with that person that is not in that can't build a future with, really. So knowing your worth, as Alicia Keys said, Beth, knowing your worth will really give you the power that women would need in order to, have that significant other that they love and enjoy. Mm-hmm. So that's why this is very particular to me also, because I got a few friends that are either going down that lane or have been down that lane. And I would love for them to actually listen up and hear about what we men can actually provide for them, as far as a listening ear and a voice in their head to let them know, hey, you can find your worth and wear your crown at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Boy.
Okay, that seems pretty. That's okay. That's good stuff. Okay, so knowing your worth. Okay, so at what point do you decide or figure out that it's time for me to know my worth? Like,
all right,
don't be like me and wait 15 years. Go ahead, Glenn.
So I'm gonna get this from a male perspective. Yes, we do live in a male-dominated society, and women have been mistreated for years and years. And a lot of women are starting to become empowered. But let's not forget about those men who have to wake up every morning and look themselves in the mirror and try to and that feel like they are not worthy of even walking this earth.
Yep.
Because it is men out there So if we're going to talk about knowing your worth for women, I feel like we should address men that should know their worth also, because it's plenty of men that stand in the mirror and tear them own selves down, trying to figure out why everyone that's around them is either achieving, finding love, or anything, and they're still stuck in the same position that they're always stuck in. So
let's not also forget this actually goes both ways for men and women in the work industry as well.
Right.
You know, when it comes to going for a job interview and you don't get it and you find you start to lose yourself and lose hope. No, still get back out there. No, you deserve that job. Go out there and find that job. And when you get to that interview, you own it. You deserve it. That's your job. That's yours for the taking. And a lot of people get out here. I got a lot of friends out here, especially with the times that are now with COVID happening and jobs are starting to hire again.
Right.
So go out there and take what's yours. There's other candidates out there, but that's your job. Your worth. And don't go out there and just thinking going for the lowest job on the planet either. Also knowing your worth is knowing what you particularly are about.
Right.
You don't go out here, working for a low end job when you can actually have a really good high paying job. Get out there and look for it. Get out there and get it.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let us deal with one aspect of this at a time. Okay, so we don't want to ramble off into the weeds. Okay, so we're talking about knowing your worth. We're talking about personal, beyond work, because you have to get back to the basics eventually, and the basics is you.
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with work.
Right.
All right. So, E, would you agree with the fact that knowing your worth is a thing to where you have to understand where you are personally, and it's about your self-esteem? Would you agree with that?
Right. And I hear what you guys are saying, but when I think about knowing your worth, it comes from me. It comes from the aspect of business, and when I was sending you those titles, I think knowing your worth was one, the first one that I gave. Because of, like I said, I tell people 95% of the time of the topics that I talk about on my shows deal with personal matters.
Mm-hmm.
Know your worth, business, me. If I had the time, I would write a book. I would write a book on, business etiquette and business 101. When I think about knowing your worth is when a person tried to sell yourself cheap based off of, knowing that person. So, for example, friend of mine that I've known all my life hits me up and says, "Hey, E, I need you to do something. I need you to do something." And, he automatically attaches a price tag, totally ignore your price tag based off of relationship. You see what I'm saying? And then when you approach him or her and you tell them, "Hey, wait, whoa. This is not how much I charge. This is how much I charge." You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Know your worth. You put in the work long time. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Now, in the beginning stages, yes, that's all fine and good. But you have built up a rapport that your work, you're credible now. And that people are starting to watch. People are noticing you. People are talking about you. All of that cheap stuff, all of that has ceased now. So pretty much what I'm saying is don't allow anybody to sell yourself cheap. So that's coming from a perspective of me, of business, knowing who you are, where you came from up until now. And that's with anybody, you know, it could be your relative, it could be your closest friend. Don't let anybody sell yourself cheap.
Okay. I like it. Don't sell yourself cheap. Okay, so again, we're heading off into business and work. We're talking about. So here's my question. Okay, to the panel and to anybody who's listening and watching. When you look in the mirror, what do you see?
Yourself.
So let me break this down, because I feel like my personal experience will give a lot of insight into this, because it was a journey of growth. On the outside, I can be the most cockiest person on earth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna walk into any situation with my head held up high, and I'm going to present myself as if I'm qualified, if I'm the guy to, in any aspect. If I'm walking in for business, I'm gonna go in there prepared and ready to present myself as a businessman.
Right.
If I'm going in there, if I'm trying to talk to a female, I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be presentable and in the fashion where I'm confident within myself. But that's the outer shell. Knowing your worth is when you get home and you look in that mirror and it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to sit up there and have them conversations with yourself. When you sit there and pick yourself apart, when you sit there and tear yourself down to the bare minimum, trying to see how you can rebuild yourself to match the facade you put on for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So
to do that.
I mean, I used to have this saying, like, it was called "Be Real." If you can't be real with yourself, then who can you be real with?
Mm.
And for a long time, I couldn't be real with myself.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I talked. I hated myself.
Right.
So, and it's still a building process that I go through. But after all these years of being on this earth, I'm finally starting to know my worth of, like, to anybody on the outside. I'm letting people in right now, which I really don't do. But to the outside world, to anybody that's not close to me, they would think that I know my worth. I know, what to do. I know myself. But if you're close and inside my world, you know that I struggle with a lot of internal issues personally.
Right.
Wow.
But you
So
woke
it's a
up one morning.
constant building process.
Yeah. But you woke up one morning and said, I'm done with the struggle. I'm done with the struggle. I got to take my crown. I got to shine it up a little bit. And I need to start recognizing, because nobody's going to recognize your worth but you.
Right.
Right.
That's the thing.
So you have to, everything starts with you. That's why I think I was talking about this Friday on my Real Talk with the Guru show, is that, you first have to, because you have to pat your own self on the back sometimes, because people ain't going to do it, because people are going to find the reason not to show you your worth. Listen, your shine is your shine. Can't nobody take your shine. Right. So you have to, so people, and not saying that people don't struggle with mental health, because we all do. We all struggle with mental health on some degree or level, right? But at some point, we got to say, I can't. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of every other day I'm depressed and I'm laying in the bed for 2 days. I wake up. I wake up and be like, I just don't want to deal with this job today. I just don't feel it. Or you dealing with people, a significant other, a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you have to be like, you know what? Today I don't want to be with you today. I mean, you have to get back to what is prominent in your life. Agreed?
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like my situation, I'm gonna tell you the perfect song that reflects my situation, and that's "Tears of a Clown" by Smokey Robinson.
Mm.
Because you could be smiling on the outside, making everybody think you're all good. Folks ask you how you doing. Oh, I'm good. Everything
Yeah.
great. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
And the inside, you dying.
Yeah. You're dying on the inside.
Yeah.
There's a song, and it mirrors Smokey. But I don't know if you guys remember a guy by the name of Tony Rich. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had a song called "Nobody Knows It But Me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Tony Rich Project.
Yes, sir. And that first, and when I remember that song when it first came out. And he said, just like Quinn was just talking about, he said, like a clown, I put on the show. And something, and and I'm crying inside, but nobody knows it but me. When I remember that line, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because in that place in my life, I didn't know my worth. I didn't know that I was valuable to people. And I had parents, and I have daughters, I have grandkids, and I used to be like, man, nobody love me. Don't nobody want me.
Ooh, Lord.
And can't nobody love you or want you until you love and want you.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
But here's the problem. Like, a lot of the time, we're not checking our own selves. We're not checking our own self-esteem. Like Cat Williams said, it's a self-esteem.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is, and I mean, just like y'all, there was a song that actually hit me off, and it was a pretty dope song by Lil Wayne and Bruno Mars, Mirrors. And if you people like that song because it's a different kind of vibe, and they like the certain rapper, I go for lyrics. And then in the lyrics, if you actually go back and listen to it, mirrors on the wall, here we are again, through my rise and fall, you've been my only friend. I had to be my only friend at the time. I had Q I could have reached out to back then. I had our boy CJ, and other friends and family members, but I had to reach down deep inside my own self and say, all right, what am I going to do to get myself out of this hole? Because at the end of the day, I got my kids I got to live for. I got my my family. They depend on me for certain aspects. Even when I'm down, I gotta do what's necessary to breathe in this world and to continue to go forward.
Right.
So if I'm not doing what I can and what I need to do, I mean, what's going to happen with my kids? My kids are going to follow suit and see the negative, and they're going to go down that same path. And I don't want that. So, and again, it starts by checking your self-esteem. If you can't check yourself, you're going to stay in the same bubble. You're not going to get out. You're going to stay negative all the time. You're not have any positivity. It's just not going to work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, seek some help.
Yeah.
So that's almost a two-way. That's almost a double-edged sword, Kev, because I'm telling you from my life experience. We are taught as men that we are not supposed to show weakness.
Yes. That's an issue too.
We internalize so much starting from a young age,
right,
that when we do start to reveal our feelings, people look at us with eye, and then that's when they take those shots at your pride.
right.
Like with men, tell me if I'm wrong. With men, our pride is like at the top of our list,
right,
of stuff you don't mess with. And when somebody takes a hammer to your pride, that makes you close back in. And see, that's when all that toxicity starts to, seep from your pores.
Yeah.
So me personally, I was one of those people. I'm not finna tell you how I'm feeling. I'm not finna tell you what's going on with me, nothing like that, because I don't want to seem weak. But then when I start revealing my feelings and stuff like that, it was used against me. Right. So then you end up in limbo where you don't know what to do. You don't know if I can confide. What if I confide in this person, then they take it and run with it and use it to hurt me?
Right.
And then you end up going through a vicious cycle. So what it comes to with that is, especially I actually sought professional help. Somebody that is bound by law to not talk about me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do that. And I was able to start the healing process within myself because I wasn't going through a vicious cycle of people I'm telling my intimate thoughts and feelings to, that are taking them, running, and using them against me.
Right.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then
because
again,
my big,
it comes with responsibility too. You know, actually being able to tell somebody, you know, your personal feelings and actually get out there and do it, you know, and start the healing process like you did. It comes with a lot of responsibility because you can
but
also
some people
relapse
not
back into that
mentally,
same thing.
some people not mentally built for that, man. Like some people
They're
have
not.
to be like some people have been through so much trauma that like men and women have been through so much trauma
Mm-hmm.
that they can start a healing process, but it can be the slightest thing,
Yeah.
just the slightest,
Mm-hmm.
and it crushes them, crushes their spirit, their soul, their heart. So it's about knowing your worth, but sometimes you need help for
To
you.
get to
You
that.
need people. Yeah, you need people in your corner that's going to support you and not take advantage of that vulnerability.
Okay. So, excuse me. So, what Quinn is describing is what they call when they say men aren't supposed to show weakness, right? What Quinn is describing is toxic masculinity, right? So that's what he's talking about. That's what he's defining. And we are in a place in society in our lives that we can't allow toxic masculinity because there's so many men that struggle with that. They struggle. Some men are standing wounded, but won't utter a syllable because they're afraid that someone's going to talk about them. Let me tell you something about Terry. Okay. I don't know about Kev, Quinn, or Ernest. I'm going to tell you something about Terry, though. I don't care what you think about me. I'm struggling. And I would tell people that I'm struggling because at the end of the day, my peace and joy is what's most important. That's what's most important. Because if you don't have peace and you don't have joy, that's where you struggle,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
That is
That's where you
true.
struggle. Because we deal with stuff on a daily basis, and we already have enough defining factors in our life, and you got this one lingering factor that I don't trust people, or I don't love myself, and that's extra stuff that's compounded. Why? You know what I'm saying? At some point, we have to say. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but take it from a guy like me who has walked through, who has been there, who has been hurt, who has hurt people. We have to get to a place to where the hurt has to stop. The buck has to stop somewhere. That's just
Right.
not a euphemism.
Right.
That's a real thing. The buck has to stop someplace, right? Now, because E's awful silent. I love when E get on these podcasts. He don't say 2 words to talk to him directly. So
That's
I
because you
love
know when he thinking, that's that marinating when it starts to thinking and start
it. Hey, Tim.
marinating.
Hey,
Yeah.
Timmy Dog. What's going on Facebook? I appreciate you for coming through and say hey. If you're watching
What's up,
on any of the platforms, leave a comment. I can get those over here, so I can see them. I would love to interact with the people that are watching. Yeah. So just like any normal man, we've all struggled in some area in
Right.
one way or another, right?
Right.
Before you met Linnea,
Mm-hmm.
did you know who you were?
No, because just what you just said, when people the masculinity of showing I wouldn't say show weakness. If something was troubling me, I wouldn't say anything because of the person that would talk about me.
Yeah.
And this was I was in a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
And if I cried or showed any sign of weakness, not necessarily cried, if I gesture or anything,
Mm-hmm.
And vulnerability.
right, I would get talked about. And
Right.
God forbid if we was out in public.
Oh Lord,
That's
you don't
worse.
cry in public. You can't do that.
Right. I can't cry in public.
Yeah. I
And
do.
to this day, well, now it's, I'm not saying that I just, cried the drop of a hat,
I do.
but when something is wrong with me, I feel a little bit more at ease now
Mm-hmm.
because Linnea understands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She's not going to talk about me.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to tell her friends like, girl, oh my God, E was crying last night.
Yeah, girl.
I don't, girl. Sending text messages.
Let
you
me
know.
tell you what happened last night. You
Tell me
cried in
how
the
this
movie.
nigga was just boohooing last night. So I feel a little bit.
That makes a
But-
whole lot of difference, man.
Right,
I'm gonna just
right.
be honest.
And
Like,
but when I was with that person,
Mhm.
it like the first time I did it, you know, it was everything was weighing on my shoulders,
Right.
you know, everything. And instead of being supportive, she goes back and tell everybody. So when I'm in their presence now, it's like, you know, you going to cry today, you gonna cry tomorrow. You know, it was one of
oh,
them.
he gonna cry in the car.
Yeah, he gonna cry in the car.
He gonna go cry in the car.
Right
Yeah.
now,
Don't give me that chain.
he gonna
Yeah.
go around the back and sit on the stoop and cry. That's what he gonna do.
And then
But-
they get to call you soft and all
Right.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So-
So, like,
See, and that I wanted to attack too, and I specifically want to speak to the ladies on this one. Like when you see a man down and you see a man being vulnerable to you, you know,
It's
I mean,
not
it can't be
expected of
one
us.
sided. Women cannot just be vulnerable and not let men be vulnerable. See, I love my woman. My woman loves, I don't say she loves it, but she allows me to be vulnerable and actually tell her how I feel, and things of that nature. If I cry during the movie, I cry during the movie. I cry.
Man,
Fight me. I cry. but at the same time, she don't look at me different.
the movie that really got me. I'm sorry, Kevin. The movie that really got me was, if anybody's seen this movie, is The Best Man Holiday.
Oh man, come on,
Oh man,
The scene
Mia
when he
died?
bro.
buried Morris Chestnut's wife,
Mia.
and when he clenched up his fist, and when Tay Diggs was like he kept looking at him to check on him, and when he finally broke down, and when man, you talk, I have not cried a good cry, like from the belly.
Right.
And I was laying in the bed right next to Linnea. And when you cry, and that come out.
Oh no, I ain't never had one.
What?
No.
I ain't had one
was
of them
that?
since I was not a teenager, bro.
When that comes out, and she looked at me like, and I had to let it go, and I got up and went in the bathroom and finished. And then I came back.
Crying? Or what did you finish doing?
He was sitting. She
was
found him
crying.
sitting in the corner, rocking back and forth.
Oh yeah.
No, I was in the mirror. I ain't rock back before. I was standing up.
Yeah.
I finished because you just can't. When you cry good, you just can't stop. I understand kids now when they
It make you tired too.
it brings it out. You got to get it out.
Yeah.
But I had to go in the bathroom and get it out,
Yeah.
and then came back.
You sound like you gotta go take a poop. That's what it sounds like.
It did sound like I was
So like with me, I didn't shed a tear unless I like had allergies or something. It was like I shedded my first tear.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Since I was like the last time I had remembered that I had cried was 15. I was 15 years old, and I didn't shed a tear for the first time until I was about 32 years old.
Yeah, boy.
Like an emotional cry. Yeah, I was 32 years old.
Right.
I hadn't cried like I would go to funerals, lose family members, all of that.
Right.
I wouldn't cry because I had conditioned myself that I don't show emotion like that.
That's sociopathic.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Stop doing that. Don't do that.
Like I literally like my way of showing emotion was snapping out or I would get so mad that I would want to put my hands on people that I have to just leave and get out the vicinity.
Right.
But I wouldn't let nobody see me. But I was 32 years old, and it was the reason I cried. It wasn't because of nothing nobody did or nothing. It was the fact that I had to get a hip surgery. No, I wasn't 32. At 32, it wasn't a hip surgery. It was something medical, and I was just tired of getting cut on.
Yeah, that will do it.
I like since I was like 17 years old, I probably had about 20 surgeries.
That's great.
And I was just tired of getting cut on. That's just the reason I started crying.
Right.
You know, tired of anesthesia, trying to get sliced up. No, I'm finna be down for a minute because you don't want to take a chance of busting these stitches or staples.
Yeah.
So, and then I was mad at myself because I cried.
Oh man, that's crazy. You shouldn't be mad at yourself because you cried.
Shoot, when I cry, I just cry. Shoot, you ain't crying, it's me. You know.
Let's tie a bow on this.
Well,
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was gonna say my last piece is the last thing I cried on was when the Avengers and good old Iron Man passed away, and I looked at my kids, my girl looked at me, and she was like, "I just go what?"
Let me tell you something.
I'm human.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm telling y'all, and we're gonna tie a bow on this, and then we're gonna go to our next topic here. When that baby said, he told his baby, "I love you 3,000." At the end of, let me tell you something. I lost all my stuff, all of it. So if
me and my son say that every night. I love you 3,000.
If you haven't watched Avengers Endgame, I'm sorry, we just spoiled it for you. But I'm telling you,
if you haven't watched it by now, because it's on now.
If you ain't watched it by now, we just spoiled it. Sorry.
Right.
But when he told, at his funeral, and his hologram said, "I love you 3,000," and he winked at it. It was over. All right. So on the other side of the break, man, we're gonna get to the question of, can you forgive a cheater? That's the topic of the podcast today, but we kind of got into know your worth and stayed there a little bit. But we're going to get into, can you forgive a cheater on the other side of the break? Hang tight.
WLEO 26.7 online radio, the hottest in today's new music. Hits from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. R&B, gospel, jazz, and indie music, all on one station.
All right, and we're back, man. And Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, along with me, my man E Digger, Quinn Stewart. And I'm not sure what happened to K Peep. There he is, right there. And we're back now. We're going to get into the topic of the podcast here. Can you forgive a cheater? Holy Toledo. That's trying to
depends on where you at in your life.
Yeah, that's crap. We'll get into that in a minute too. But can you forgive?
I'm gonna fight you for that.
You
got to think about it now. You got. I know for me, it was where I was at in my life.
Okay.
So you gotta kind of ease on into that. You like some people built like that, where they can just say F it and going on by their business. But like I got cheated on several times by a person, and I forgave her, and then it reached that climax where I'm not getting into the story, but like I came home and somebody else was sitting on my couch, like they had paid sitting in my couch and in my house, had been driving my car.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah,
totally been there.
And the fact I was living in Memphis and I didn't want to end up in 901 Poplar. Like if you ever heard any Memphis song, they tell you don't want to be in jail on Poplar Street. That's where I didn't want to be.
Right.
So had my gun in my hand and could have took old boy's life, but it wasn't his fault.
Right.
Okay. So if you're cheated on multiple times, is it a thing? Is it a thing of becoming actually numb to it? I mean, is this one of those things you just become numb? Especially if you're being cheated on multiple times.
In my position, it was me blaming myself for not making time. I was going to school, and
so you were numb to her choices. Got it.
Or the person make it seem like it's you.
Those people are realistic. Yeah.
So I it happened to me twice. And
like, were you young, like early 20s?
I was
my situation was in our early 20s.
But she tried to make it seem like, it was me. And you could tell a lie. I don't know about you guys, but I could tell a lie. And I mean, no matter how, and this is how I put it, I said, no matter what I was doing, to the extent I know how you feel, we God gave us the best thing that he possibly could give us, organ wise and function and features, is the ability to talk and a mouth. And no matter how it need to come out, it need to come out. You see what I'm saying? If I wasn't doing nothing, if I wasn't doing nothing or doing it lackadaisy and you need me to pick it up, there's a correct way of saying it.
Okay.
And both times, I found out both times.
Wow.
So it's like, I think she was popped. It's like, oh, I got popped. He found out.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like a deer in headlights, like, oh,
Yeah.
And she didn't know how to come back from that. And
normally don't. Normally,
yeah.
Jesus don't. They don't know how to do that.
So
I didn't.
So I was like, it's cool. It's cool.
So I've never been in that position. I've never cheated on anyone.
Yeah. Well, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. Here's my question, and I know somebody's listening, and the question that lingers in everybody's head is this: if a man finds out that his woman cheated on him, kind of like in Eve's spot, when a man finds out that a woman has cheated on him, can we as men handle it?
It depends on how emotional that person is. That's
yeah.
The emotional investment that person that you cheated on, you better be careful, because if they invested their entire savings, emotional stress,
hey honey,
like and just like the anonymous Facebook user that just commented right now, you can't come back from that.
Right.
You cannot come back from that once you've reached that peak. You cheat on someone, it's over with. I'm sorry, the relationship's never going to be the same. The trust,
right?
You can try and build that trust so much, but it'll never be at 100%, and that person will never be comfortable like they used to be with you before.
Right.
They'll never know. It's always that wondering thought, that lingering thought. What are they doing?
No, I don't. No, I don't agree with that. Here's what I think is that if you are with someone and you make the mistake, and because we have to know the difference between a mistake and a choice, right? So if you do something, you make a mistake, and it happens once, and you ask for forgiveness, and you do all that. But if you do that thing multiple times, then it becomes a choice. Now, when someone has made a choice to cheat on you multiple times, then there's a problem, because we now have to say, okay, hey, one time, what's that old saying?
Fool me once.
One time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. That's kind of what that is, right? And so, going from a mistake to a choice, that's when it gets problematic. Now, if something happens and it happens, like I said, it happens one time, then it's like, okay, I can forgive you. Like Kevin said, to a degree, I agree with you when they say it takes some rebuilding, because once you tear somebody, once the trust goes away, it's a wrap. Now, I think my wife is listening. I think my wife was listening, and because I think that's her comment in the comment section. I've made a bunch of mistakes.
Me too.
But I had to come to realize that some of those were choices. You know what I'm saying? And
read that comment. Read that comment that just came up. Like that. That's real. Like, I don't know who that is. I wish it wasn't anonymous.
That's Melissa. That's Melissa. That's who that is.
Melissa, I'm with you 100%. Forget what Terry's saying. I'm with you.
She said facts. It would never go back to what it was previously. Nah, bruh, ain't no mistakes. You did that. That's a choice. You did that. Own it, right? You got to own that.
Yeah.
And it's taken me and Melissa been together for almost 6 years. Let me tell you, be married for 2 on the 21st, and I'm still repairing holes in the trust. So that's the realness of it.
Right.
Is that when you see me and Melissa, or you see a post, hey, look, I done punched so many holes in that brick wall, it wasn't even funny. I'm still, to this day, repairing holes in the trust because of the choices that I made. They're not mistakes anymore.
Steady buying brick and mortar.
Right.
But see, Doug, me personally, it was like I never cheated because it was just seeing how certain situations played out with family members and especially around my neighborhood. Like I never wanted to be the person to come outside and see some broad busting the windows out my car. I never wanted to be the person
out of fear
to be to get chased down the street in my drawers with a knife. You know, like I've seen these things literally. So
Lorena
like,
Bobbitt fixed that for a lot of men.
Right.
So it was just pretty much like, and then once I got older and I started getting, and I got cheated on multiple times by one person and got cheated on by another female, it was just like the way I felt. I can't make the type of person I am. I don't want to make nobody else feel the way I felt in those moments.
I was in a situation where the girl was cheating on the guy with me. And the funny thing was, he saw me downtown, and he looked right at me, and I knew who he was. He just looked at me. One, he was short. He was shorter than I, and he just looked at me. And because when I'm out in public, I have this mug. It's not intentional. It's just me.
I'm the same way. Just hold my face a certain way.
Yeah.
So he looked
and it's almost like a defense mechanism.
Right. And when he looked at me, he saw that mug and he was like, should I or shouldn't I?
No, shouldn't I? Yeah.
So he told her about, I know I saw the guy you cheating on me, but and he knew.
Right.
And I felt bad for him. I really felt bad for him. I said, because one, I would not want to be in that predicament. I put myself in that. And I said, you need now after, she was coming over, we was doing our thing. I mean, it was going on for a minute, and then one day I just told her, I said, you need to talk to that man. You need to talk to him, because I feel bad when he's looking at me dead in the face and we making that eye contact. He wanted to come over so bad and say something to me. But one, probably we would have talked or we probably would have fought. But after that confrontation, I really felt bad for him. And so that one night she came over, I said, look, you got to talk to him. You really got to talk to him because I would not want to put myself or see myself in that predicament.
Right.
It is not good.
So reading Melissa's comment, I got on the screen there. It says, it's your wife. Speaking from experience, I've tried to forgive people in the past. It never worked. I've never cheated. If I'm not happy, if I don't see us moving forward, it's time to split.
Right.
I do me. Let's figure out how to go separate ways so we can not live in toxicity or not date a husband. Come on, ladies. Come on, fellas. We got to do better. I like that.
She ain't lying.
So, like, I started when I was in college. I started dating this older woman. No rings on her finger or anything. Her husband was a truck driver. So this went on for about 3 months. So one day she showed up at my apartment, and we were finna get ready to kick it. I hear a knock at my door. I'm like, nobody hit me up, told me they were coming over. Let me check the door, and I opened the door. This man at my door. He was just like, I just wanted to let you know, man, that's my wife. We've been married for 10 years. But I got no problem with you. But he looked at her and told her, when you get home, when you get back to the house, all your stuff will be waiting on you like that. Wow. And he walked down. That man could have just blasted me in my face or anything. Yeah. And so when I closed the door, she was just looking like she wasn't bothered. I was like, nah, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go handle that. Like, no, like I didn't know she was married. So, because every time I went by her house, no pictures, no nothing,
Oh, she was good. Okay.
And I told her, I was like, yo, you got to go handle that.
Yeah.
And she was like, you putting me out? I'm like, yeah. Because not only did you lie to me, you definitely been lying to him. And the same way you get them is how you lose them.
Right.
Yeah, that the old saying goes, the same thing it took to get your baby hooked is gonna take the same thing to keep them. That's exactly right. But here's the thing: why is it that men? Why do men when they cheat? When we cheat? Why are we all bold with it? Like you cheat, you're cheating, right? You got caught, right? And you want to be on some Snoop Dogg stuff,
That's the masculinity of the
I was
whole
about to
You
say,
want to be
situation.
Shaq and just like
again? Is that what that is?
see
Yeah,
you with your,
It's literally
see you
the
in the car with her,
masculinity
be
of
like,
everything.
it wasn't me.
Polar nights on Twitch. All the big girls are not hiding, sir. I'm reading the guys' comments on Twitch. It's funny. It's hilarious. But Melissa says, "How you dating somebody's husband or wife? Baby, go sit down." I asked Terry. I wouldn't give him the time of day because he was married, and I was. You may feel the need to try, but 9 times out of 10, it's never the same, and someone in the relationship will use it in a future argument. You better believe it. You better believe
because that's why I put her out my house. Because the thing is, had I known she was married, there's no way I would have disrespected that man like that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm with somebody and you know me and this woman together, you're totally disrespecting me by approaching this woman I'm with. You really testing my gangster, trying to see how far you can get. And yes, just like, yeah, she may go. But guess what? If you know me, like, I don't understand how a best friend can cheat with his friend's woman or anything like that. Yo, it's gonna be smoke in the city, bro. Like we gotta meet toe to toe.
I'm gonna be on
now with
the game.
Now, Quinn, let me, for the sake of time, I'm gonna try to shorten this about you dating your homeboy girl. Now, again, I was in a situation like that. Like, when your boy don't have much, he living with his relatives and don't have his own, and you bringing your girl over my house. I got my own place. I got 2 jobs. I'm doing it. You see what I'm saying? Then the girl is looking at me like, he's looking good. He's doing good. He got 2 jobs. He got his own pad.
Yeah.
And you still living home with your mama, writing your name on the orange juice.
Oh Lord, know what your name was. Sharing is key.
You know what I'm saying?
It's rules, man. I always feel like it's rules. Like if my
code, man.
If my boy is dating somebody, there's no way I can go and date her.
Right.
There's no way I can sleep with her because that's my brother. I'm sleeping with the woman my brother been with.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I can't do that.
Not gonna lie, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and put my personal experience out there. That actually literally happened to me. My previous with my ex, and I'm gonna try to shorten this too. Where my downfall came in right before I met Terry. This all happened right before I met Terry. I was going through a huge turmoil, and my ex, she cheated on me with my homeboy, and I found out it was all over me being emotional because of my dad's passing, and I was going through all the emotions of my dad's passing. I never had a person of that statue actually leave my life.
Right.
And I was going through the works, man. I was depressed. I'm not a drinker, but I drank. And that was when Crown Royal Black came out for the first time. So I bought a bottle and I drank it. And I'll never do it again. But I went through the whole breakdown of depression, drinking, and doing it all. And what ended up happening is, she ended up being there for call herself being there for me, and my homeboy called himself being there for me too, and they ended up kissing, and then after I had already passed out, I was drunk, and that has never happened to me in my life, but when it happened, it all went downhill from there, and I ended up finding out 2 months later behind my back they were seeing each other. And that's when that whole thing went down. So it hurt. I went through I wanted to fight, but I had to let go. I had to be grown and let go. Because if I didn't, I was gonna be this bitter Kevin that just either ended up in jail or just It was
me
gonna
tell
be
you
ugly.
one thing, Kevin.
Yeah.
It was gonna be ugly.
I'm all about being grown, but
Tell me this before we get out.
sometimes smoke need to be lit in the city.
Right.
Yeah,
You right.
sometimes. All right, so
Sometimes you got to come and see me.
So Kevin, please tell me that this homeboy is no longer a homeboy.
He around. No. And I
Man,
do
if you
this.
want to hammer on that dude.
No. And I don't hold, and like I've been one to let go of grudges because it wasn't, when it come down to it, the person I needed to check was her.
Okay.
And him,
Yeah,
and
no,
him, and
bro.
him. It was both. Don't get it twisted. I did my checking on both ends.
I would have checked his ass from across the
But
street. That's what, no sir.
when it comes down to it, though, I've done. When I say live and let go, I lived and let go, and I've lived a happy life from that moment forward. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Guarantee. It was one of the best things for my soul. I guarantee you, because had I gone down the other path, this Kevin would be locked up in jail.
Right.
So
that wouldn't be me.
I would have let go, but after I knocked him out, put his face under the tire and did a burnout.
Because that.
Yeah,
because that's part of the bro code, man. You don't do that.
It is the bro code, and I understand. The whole scenario. You don't do this. You don't do that. The bro code. And there's times that the bro code is broken. Yes, I understand. Cool,
okay.
But I'm not gonna sit here and be, the negative. Just let it wear down on me, because it would have. One, I'm already in a depressive state.
Right.
Keep in mind, I lost my father, and I had to let go of a lot of anger.
Man,
I let go of so much anger. No, I'm not gonna do that. I've never been one to make excuses for myself.
Right.
No,
and I wasn't gonna do it at that point.
It wouldn't have been an excuse.
But at that point, it's an excuse for me, though, Q.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I had to live and let go. If I didn't let go, and I was gonna be this example for my kids' sake, and for my kids to be in my kids' life, I needed to do the necessary things and just process it, break it down, and get rid of folks, and do what's necessary for my kids. At that point, it wasn't about them no more. It was about my focus for these kids.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. And
because I don't have kids, that I don't have that mindset.
Okay.
Because I'm all about letting you feel it.
And so here's the thing, and I hear your passion in it, Kevin. I got it. I do. It's one thing to forgive them and move on. It's quite another to continue to have this man still somewhere in this circle. Right now, we forgive him, because to me it was like I would.
No, it ain't. We ain't close. Don't get it twisted. We're not close. He's more along as an associate.
Oh.
We're not close. No.
He wouldn't even be an associate, nowhere near. He couldn't say hey to me. He couldn't even walk within 50 feet of me, because if I see him, it's on sight.
But see, that's the thing, though. That's not you let it go, because if I didn't let go, if I was,
I'm talking about Tom and Jerry on sight.
Right.
But see, that's what I'm talking about, Q. Like, if I had to continue to hold that grudge, holding grudges against people, I wouldn't be the Kevin. I promise you, my fiance wouldn't like that person. That I would have been. I would have been completely different. So that literally, that was a turning point in my life that literally pushed me to where I'm at in the position of my life right now. And I guarantee you, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Okay.
So Kev, tell me this. Let me get this out to you real quick.
All right.
Do you think I'm a good person?
Yeah.
I've been holding a grudge.
I've been
holding a grudge against somebody since I was a senior in high school. If I see dude to this day, the first thing I'm gonna do is go walk up to him and knock him out. I've been saving this hook punch just for him.
He woke up and chose violence today.
This man chose violence since high school. I'm done with you.
All right, so listen to this. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get ready to. We're on the downslope of the show. We're actually 4 minutes over. So here's the question. I'm gonna ask this hard question to my panel and to everyone who is watching or listening. Here's the question. If you're on Facebook, I'm gonna need you to comment on Facebook right now if you're listening. Okay. If you have shared it, tell the people that to share it and to answer it and to comment in the comment section. And my folks on Twitch, here's my question. Quinn, do you have someone significant in your life right now?
No.
Okay. If you did, Kevin, if Jen, E, if Linnea, you found out that they cheated on you, could you forgive them?
Walking away. I ain't that person no more.
I don't think I could.
My loyalty too strong. I got too much loyalty for you to betray my loyalty like that.
And excuse me if y'all see me in the camera. I caught a cramp.
Yeah.
I wonder why you
trying to stick it off.
I know what happened.
But to answer your question, I would forgive her. Here's why. There's the cliche. There's a million whatever's out in the sea or what fish is out in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I could find anybody like her. And I'm not saying this because she probably watching, but honestly, I'm at the age now. I'm tired of dating.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You're married.
Yeah.
So if there's something, so I'm gonna answer your question with a yes.
Okay.
But if there's something that we can't work out, peace out.
Yeah, we gotta roll on.
Now I don't know how many people know me or whatever. I'm like this. I'm gonna give it a try. We can talk about it. But if we can't mend this, if we can't talk about it and mend this and move on, peace out. It's nothing. It is nothing to me. I gave it my best. I gave it a try.
I guess the difference is because we're married. I think, the difference between boyfriend, girlfriends,
right,
and wives,
right,
it's two different things. But you got to understand something though. When women, if a woman, I guess some men say no because they feel like if a woman gets to the point where she gonna cheat, you done messed up. Like you done messed up for real. If that woman decides to cheat on you, she done gave you every sentiment of her being. She was
not really T.
And she cheat on you, it's for real. It's probably
not really T. Some women just out there and won't say nothing, won't give you no chance or nothing. Woman just in a situation for stability, and you just happen to be a placeholder until she finds something better.
True.
So he's trying to say, there are women out there that use men as a stepping stone, and there are some grudgy and dirty women out there like that. So men too.
Yeah,
don't get it twisted. There's some men out there like that too.
Yeah,
the problem is and like I said, it's different strokes for different folks. Everybody's different. Not everybody's gonna process the same. But we can't grade this on a level of, we can only go by what we think would happen and personal experience and things like that. Mm-hmm. So if I had to, if anything, I probably, and E actually made me change my mind on my answer. I actually would. I'm a second chance person. Mm-hmm. I give a lot of second chances to people who really don't deserve it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, if it boiled down to it, and my fiance actually, something happened in that nature, I would take it into consideration, but I can't give a definitive answer. I really can't. It just really depends on where I'm at in life, right, how I'm feeling in life, and it's in where we are as that couple, because like I said, we're gonna be married in a couple of weeks. So I mean, everything's completely different. When you're married, you're supposed to be married before God. You're supposed to be married, and before the government and before your family. So everything's different. This is why we're getting married, is to be a unit. One unit, one blended family is what we got. And when I say blended family, Terry and Q and E, if you get down here too, I promise you're going to see one blended family. You're going to see the Hispanic side, the white side, the black side. You're going to see everything.
Right. And
for us to actually have that, and y'all see, I'm passionate about my woman. I'm very passionate about us getting married. And there's a reason for that, but once you go beyond measure, once you cross that enemy line, and we all know that enemy line. You know, we got some habitual line steppers out there, but once you cross that enemy line,
habitual line steppers.
once you step over that line, that means, and it comes with the responsibility.
Right.
You have to own up to it, and if you don't, I mean, come on. I mean, like I said, it depends on a number of things, and that's the reason I can't give a definitive answer. But I take it into consideration, though.
So let me
bring this full circle.
Let me give you mine, and we're gonna get out of here. Okay. If my wife cheated on me, I would absolutely forgive her, without question. We ain't gonna talk about
Miss Little. There you go.
We're gonna talk. We there's something to discuss. And this is her comment. She just put in the chat. I want to do this with you. I love doing this with you. I don't want to do this with anyone else. But I don't have to do this with you. If you got to the point where you want to go cheat, you should have already told me you weren't being fed. We should already have communicated the needs.
Right.
If you got to cheat, see the door. We out here. That's just what that is. We're not gonna have this conversation. Right. But to answer the question that I put to you guys, that if my wife cheated on me, if I found out that she had cheated on me, I would absolutely forgive her. But that's because it would never happen. Right. That's right, baby. You know better. You know better. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on the episode today, Knucklehead Chronicles. Can you forgive a cheater and know your worth? Well, along with my guys, E, Quinn, and Kevin. I want to thank my guys for coming aboard. Everybody who has commented. My Haps tells me I have 57 eyes on this podcast right now. So thank you for that. All the likes, the shares, if you share the podcast, thank you for that. I really appreciate you. Join us next week. We'll be right back here. Same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. And we'll see you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Knucklehead